Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I am actually working through my backlog, so I'm reviewing a book that I actually read in 2023, even though it's 2024, and that is Sea Monsters on Medieval and Renaissance Maps. This is what the cover looks like. Very interesting, very cool, and the title kind of explains exactly what we're going to get in this book. It shows a collection of art from various maps that existed in the medieval through the Renaissance time, depicting sea monsters and different creatures that were thought to exist or rumored to have existed in the ocean. The book is laid out with plenty of snippets of art, so it does kind of move in a vaguely historical direction, as in we kind of start with the earlier art and we move forward to the later art. It doesn't follow exactly a strict linear line, but that general through line is there. We're generally getting a sense of we're moving in a forward direction, starting with the earlier art and moving to later art. So this is some of the earliest art that's being discussed in the book. And as you can see from what I'm holding up, the art is actually placed in between text. So there's quite a bit of text in this book explaining what you're looking at and the role that it played. You kind of get a sense of how these portrayals change through time. We also have these cool layout pages which kind of have a theme and they show you various pieces of art. One thing that I also enjoyed, and I've noticed from a number of these books, is that you can sometimes see which artists are taking inspiration from which other artists, which I find very interesting. And that's maybe one of the advantages of having a book like this, which covers such a wide time frame, because medieval to Renaissance is a very large time frame. I think, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, because I did forget to look this up. Medieval starts at like very, very early, right? Is that like 500 AD through Renaissance? Like, if we have 500 to 1500 AD, that's a very, very, very long time frame. So art and the depiction of sea monsters and the amount of world known, and I have to say this is from a Western European perspective, the amount of world known to the Western European world was very different and changed throughout that time. So I think that having it laid out in a chronological order, that was the word I was looking for earlier, chronological, laid out in a chronological order and covering such a wide time span, you really do get to see the evolution of art throughout this time, and it's focused on that sea monster, so you have to focus on one particular topic. We have another one of these interesting spreads. The art in this book was really, really good. The text was really interesting. The ending point felt very natural with the continued exploration of the world, and as more of the world was known to them, as more of the ocean had been explored to the Western European perspective, then it became less mysterious and less unknown, and we started to, Western Europe started to understand what monsters were real or were depictions of real creatures and which things being depicted on the map were not real, and there became less of a need to depict sea monsters on the actual map because they became knowable expanses. So I feel like it had a natural endpoint. I like the time frame, I like the art that was selected, I like the text. There was one critique, and I've actually sat on reviewing this book for a number of weeks because I've been trying to think of what the specific critique is. So if anyone else has read this book and has felt this way too, I would love to hear your comments in the section below. I felt like something with the setup was off in the book. Something with either the layout or the flow felt a little off, and I can't put my finger on what, because technically the text was interesting and the art was interesting, and I felt like it was niched down to sea monsters. Of course, it could have been expanded considerably, but I feel like this was for a general audience, so it didn't need to be specialized. It wasn't trying to be academic. Something with the layout for me just fell off, and I feel like it kind of took what could have been a 4-star book and brought it down to a 3-star book, because the pacing or something just wasn't quite right. If you've read this book and you've experienced that, please let me know, because I would love to hear it. But I don't think it's necessarily worth not recommending, because again, the text is good, the art is good. I like the focus of sea monsters and seeing how it's changed through this large time or this long time span. It was just missing something, and it's been a couple weeks, the library would like this book back, so I'm just going to do the review and saying I can't quite put my finger on what, but something with the pacing and layout for me was a little off, and I would be interested in knowing if someone else, had the exact same experience reading this book, if you felt like something with the pacing or the layout was also off as well. Overall, I would say yes, probably a 3-star read, but it was enjoyable, and I did enjoy seeing the evolution of this art and this particular depiction on maps through such a wide time span. It was enjoyable to me, and I did have a good time reading this book. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the section below. I love to receive them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.